Anything else that we need to do apart from wind you up a bit more about Perth and its little Perth?
It's magic sunshine. It's beautiful people.
There's a lot of beautiful...
Outstanding beer.
No, the beer is best out of Richmond, out of the Yarra. Goat lager, Peter.
Can you imagine if goat lager...
Toe the fucking line, mate. Okay, the Caulfield Cup 2019 edition, Peter. It's over 2,400. It's a Group 1, as you know. Imports everywhere. Very hard to line them up leading into it. What have they done to the clock here, Pete?
Look, they've walked by 4 reports, haven't they?
For the class, they've gone slow to the 6 and come home even. They've gone 5.8 lengths fast overall to the 600 and come home 1.7 fast overall, which is incredibly slow for the level of the race that this is. The overall figure is 7.5 above benchmark, puntingform.com.au. So the Everest is like a 15 figure. Like Trekking's race at Caulfield the week before was maybe even 16. It's an incredibly low figure. They have not done anything impressive to the clock here. You need to be really careful overrating any of these horses coming out of this race. And, well, this show could go for about 2 hours if we talked about each runner and how the hard luck stories. I think the main cause of a lot of these hard luck stories is the incredibly slow tempo.
Yeah.
The lack of intent from riders like Bo Mertens and Brad Rawiller, who are up in the front on horses that could have gone a bit quicker. And as they've slowed, the field's bunched and chaos has ensued.
Ensued, yeah.
Chaos has happened. It wasn't pretty.
It also
a lot of hard luck stories.
Well, it also gave their horses no chance.
Mr. Quickie, missed the start. Well backed late.
Oh.
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, look, how many of these horses weren't... There was a lot of money being traded, but a lot of it was basically back and forward.
Yeah.
It was just people disagreeing.
So what the market do with Mr. Quickie late?
So Mr. Quickie late, we've basically gone from $11 or so in towards $9.50 or so.
Decent move. Decent move in a big race.
We're talking about the last couple of minutes, 120-odd thousand matched, opened basically $9 into $8.40, hit a high of $9.40. It's good cash being matched, but again, there was no real firm move late to stamp any of these horses.
Yeah, there was really good money for Constantinople, who was he was asleep at the wheel, Luke Nolan. You're entitled to spew, which most of Twitter seemed to do already. If you backed it, it probably should have won. I think if you backed Hartnell, you're entitled to spew. It probably could have won. So he should have, could have. I think Mr. Quickie could have won. And any horse in front of it probably could have won. Mr. Quickie's missed the start massively. Then he's decided to go hard into the fence, and he's been at the back of the surf as they all just washed out the back as they slowed right down. I don't know what you do with horses like Mushta here, who had sort of the run with the winner. The winner looked like it did it pretty easily. I think Bo Mertens was... not Bo Mertens. D Lane, who rode outstanding. He is completely blessed to only cop 10 weeks, though. 10 meetings.
In the concluding stages of the race.
Big, roll in. I don't think it was actually his sort of doing. I think he thought he was clear. The horse was bolting.
Yeah,
you could see the horse was bolting for the last 1400. But they've come out and he's gone in, and the way that normally gets read and punished is by the horse that rolls in, even though a couple of them rolling out.
There was Mirage Dancer coming out as well.
He's done very, very well. He's not going to miss the Cox Plate, and he's not going to miss the Melbourne Cup, and he's on Japanese horses in both, which are going to be well back now after the dominating performance of this little Japanese import.
That Cox Plate Toyota's already pretty firmly backed, I think, isn't it?
It's $3.50 around this morning.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's imports. It's a weird race. Anything else you want to take out of this?
Not really, no. Look,
It's a really hard race to assess moving forward, isn't it?
It was a hard race to assess going into it, really, unless you had a firm opinion of any of those imports. But there was a lot of them.
But there's a lot more horses than normal in this race that you can say, unknown, not suited. Is
it going to be a good platform going forward to a more brutally run race?
I think it's a good platform for horses like Mer De Glace. Like, it's his second start this prep. It's a pretty soft run. He's got through the line really nicely again. I think we might have called that a horse to follow. Horses to follow for me from Flemington punters. Number 1, Vow and Declare. Needs to keep improving to be winning the bigger races, but what it's done first up is near a peak figure for it already. I think the sky's the limit for this horse. I love what it did late. Out of the race moving forward, Pete, to the Melbourne Cup, the most likely target for most of these. Mr. Quickie might head to the Cox Plate, which I think will be a really nice race for it. It's going to need a lot of luck though, the way it's ridden at Moonee Valley. Constantinople, the obvious. It's clocked the 5th fastest last 1,000, last 8, the 2nd fastest last 6 and 4 of the race, and the fastest last 200 metres of the race, despite going backwards and sideways and almost falling during that.
And look, if there was one horse in the race that you think was probably the best back, that would have been it late, but is it too much of a flashing light going forward to a Melbourne Cup?
Well, I think even a horse like Goldmount, who's clocked the 4th fastest last 200 metres of this race, was in that mess. Like, you can make a case for it. Hartnell, if you go and watch the replay, Brad fell asleep. It's clocked the 3rd fastest last 200 metres of the race. It's flying. If it went to the Melbourne Cup, what would you do?
I'd leave it out of this race.
If it goes around $40.
I think the last couple of years we've had Caulfield Cups that have been compromised in terms of how they've been run, the winner, so forth. For me, historically, it's a race that I take on and just put a line through everything that raced in the Caulfield Cup.
Yep.
And more often than not, recently, I've been right.
Yep. I think Finch can be totally forgiven. It was a really nice run. It's on track for the Melbourne Cup. Mirage Dancer, maybe you can be a little bit harsh on.
Yeah, there was
had an okay run.
Decent money for it late as well. There was some good backing for it at the slightly longer price.
And the rest of them sort of bring them rocks and down. Like Quafilla is gone, like we called on the deep dive last week, punters. It's had enough. Rostropovich, I think you could half forgive, but then the ride was really good and really dumb at the same time because it was over a long period of time. He was wide, they were walking, so he rolled forward, but then he just chucked the anchor out and slowed down himself. Awful ride in the end. The Everest, the big novelty race up there in Sin City, Sydney.
Might have been a novelty race, but it was the biggest betting race of the weekend.
Yep, and the fastest last 200 metres of the day, again, centre and Elaine, who was half luckless.
Yeah, I mean,
always going to be the inside draw.
Exactly,
what the market do, Pete? Give me some goes.
Well, look, there was some decent money wagered late in this race in particular. So there was over 1.8 million matched overall on Betfair. So good cash, good coin. Yes, the winner has gone from a high of 10.5 in towards a low of 7.8 at the death.
Well found.
$7.71 was the Betfair starting price. There was huge money coming for yes, especially over the last 5 to 10 minutes or so. It's gone in from that $11 into that starting price of $7.71. Conversely, Arcadia Queen, my horse, the West is best horse, has gone from $5.30 out to a high of $7 before the overall starting price of $6.10. Just huge money matched on some of these gallopers late. Santarana Lane, again, another horse that in the concluding stages just drifted out towards that high of $6.60, and we're talking about, $58,000 matched on it in just like the last couple of minutes. Not even, last minute.
Very, very strong race overall to the data, puntingform.com.au. They've gone 10.2 fast to the 600 set by Nature Strip. Let roll by Timmy Clark. Great ride. Outstanding ride. They've come home 5.4 fast. Overall figure of 15.6 lengths above the all average punting form benchmark.
Huge race.
Big figures. Yes. Well, what has it done to the clock on this? It's clocked the 3rd fastest last 8, the 3rd fastest last 6, 3rd fastest last 4, and the 5th fastest last 200. That tells me, when I read that sort of stuff, just great riding.
Yeah, well, Boss. I mean, he doesn't roll out.
Put it into the race. Put it into the race.
Yeah.
Like, he asked it to go. There's a sort of ride where they ask it to be winning the race at like the 100 metre mark, and if you want it enough, it'll hold on in these good races. Doesn't hold it up. Trekking, who has absolutely savaged the line again, clocked the fastest last 8, 6, the 2nd fastest last 4 and 2 of the race, it actually went slower early in this race than it went at Caulfield the week before. And it's run a time, personally, a little bit lower than it did at Caulfield the week before. So whilst people are half bagging the Caulfield lead-up race as Scalacci, it's actually run a bigger figure than the Everest.
Yeah.
So the field might have been small. They might have gone pretty slow early, but they've run a huge figure there at Caulfield.
Big acceleration.
I think that this, winning this race will change the entire way this race is looked at and handled moving forward. They'll look for these younger, more dynamic sprinters on the way up.
Well, let's face it, there was a few that were cast.
Well, Bivouac belted the yes, and they've gone with Elise. They're probably regretting that, but I'm not going to start feeling sorry for the Sheik.
Mind you, the market didn't think so. The move on Elise late.
Tell me about it, Pete.
I'm not sure if it was due to Rob Scurry obviously finding in the yard and Rob being on course and potentially just letting fly.
But Rob's in love with this horse.
Oh, he is. But look, the horse has gone the last 10 minutes from $14 into $8.40.
I hope it was some of the Sheik. Like he rang up on one of his phones and just dropped, a couple of hundred thousand.
I was going to say a couple of thousand.
Race 4, Peter. It's our massive big firma. Real lead in the pencil sort of activity. What was it? What happened?
It was the second biggest betting race at Caulfield.
Outstanding wagering, wasn't it?
The old Norman Robinson. Norm.
Now known as the Betfair Classic, over 2,000 metres. Was running a good 4.
How good's history? Look, thought of that was the horse that we're talking about here.
Kira Ma trained, Linda Meach ridden, comes out of
cash.
a $3.10 SP in a Donald Maiden. $3.10 SP.
Look,
unbelievable.
It's gone from $4.90 into a close of $4.20 with 360-odd thousand matched on it late in betting. There's just sustained support for this galloper late. And then it went straight to the front and dominated, really. It
went 7.1 lengths fast to the 600. It came home 5 lengths fast, an overall figure of 12.1 fast. It's outside of race 1, believe it or not, punters. It's the second biggest figure overall on the day. It's a bigger figure than anything in the Caulfield Cup. It's fast for the class to the 6. It's fast for the class home. This is a proper race, and the horses out of this race can shake anything they want. Peter, this was the perfect setup for El Meach.
Yes.
A good, strong horse, well backed, very well presented in the yard.
Yep.
On pace, on a day where you could win from anywhere. And quick shout out to Jason Kerr and his team at Caulfield. You did a fantastic job presenting this track over for 3 consecutive meetings. Yeah. Moved the rail. They won from everywhere. They handled the ridiculous overwatering policy that they've got to deal with. They did it really, really well. The track played outstanding, I thought.
It was upgraded to a good 3 after race 3.
And a good 3, I think, as well on Wednesday. So, good racing. Well done. Great effort. So, Linda's found the front, and she's just done Linda things from there. She sort of stacked them. But as you look at the data here, Peter, she's gone 12.28 to the 6. That's just where she's just finished stacking them. Just getting in the corner. What did she do from there? Well, Peter, I'm glad you asked. She went 11.88 next section, 11.4 the next section. Hearts are broken, gaps were made, race was over.
Yep.
Couldn't be caught. She came home in a 12.04, slowed it down, but she'd gapped the field. Linda doing Linda things. She's an outstanding rider on leaders. I love her on leaders. Great ride, well done. Now, great ride, Linda. Let's talk about Martin. Do you want to say anything, or do you want me to just launch here?
I know you haven't had any sleep, so I think it'll be funnier for the viewers at home if you just launch.
Well, if you go and watch the replay, punters, you can watch it on the Stewards Vision, you can watch it on the Racing.com Vision. You will have to deal with that freak with the plastic face from Sportsbet giving you that creepy ad, which we talked about at the start of the show, the guys who offer the all-in markets for not all-in races, but they get away with it because no one notices or cares. Anyway, if you go and watch the replay, you'll see Martin showed no intent early, which I can cop. But I don't like. But I'll cop. No intent early. There's a horse, Martin, that's hemorrhaged. Everyone's on it. All the big players are on it because it's got good ability and it's probably going to win. So it's leading. So you'd think might start making a move. I don't want to be too far off this horse straighten up at Caulfield. Linda knows what she's doing on leaders 9 times out of 10. He starts to make a little move. The horse picks up beautifully as he loosens the reins. Just takes the handbrake off slightly. Into the corner. Then he pulls the handbrake on the corner. I've never seen it in my life on a Saturday, especially in the Spring Carnival. He put the handbrake back on, slowed the horse down. It's a horse. I'd be confused as a human being if someone's riding me like that. It's a horse. Then he says, now go. Linda's gone. Race is over. I'm not saying it would have won. The ride was just wrong. I don't think Warning would have won. I reckon it's well worth following. It's clocked the fastest last 800 of the race and the second fastest last 6, 4 and 2. I think maybe Huntley Castle has some merit to be followed. And Miami Bound, well, what do we do with it? The big drifter, the Tokyo drifter, the Toyota. It was friendless late. It was steady-ish. And then out the gate, what happened?
Well, look, over the last 10 minutes, it's really copped a bit of punishment. Last half hour, it's gone from around that $3.40 mark, but last 10 minutes, we've got laid for 20,000, and then there was a bit more matched, came back in a fraction from 4.15 to 4.30, but then it was just lay to a total of about 260,000 or so.
Yeah, and this horse was, what did they open? Miami Bound was $2.60 at 9 a.m. on the corpse. Now, they are skimming you, especially on the favourites, and it might have even been $2.60 on Sportsbet with their deduction markets, though. You've got to be careful. It's probably $2.40.
Well, there's no emergencies, luckily, in this race. But it's best.
Yeah, no emergencies here, so play on. Play on. All clear. Normal betting.
Score review. Goal.
I'm confused.
Betfair SP for Miami Bound, $4.40.
Big drifter.
Yeah.
Big drifter. Thought Ollie gave it every possible too. It was sort of inside of Warning.
Market new, though.
Yeah. It was...
Just wasn't.
I don't know what to do with the horse moving forward. Thought of that and Warning too. I really want to follow. Huntley Castle, I'm not sacking. Power Scheme, I think just needs a little break.
Little break.
Okay, Peter, what are we going to do next?
Well, there was a couple of other real big Tokyo drifters in race 5.
Race 5. Race 5, the massive drifter was number 3, Soothing, ridden by D. Lane. The Caulfield Cup winner. What happened?
So in the last couple of minutes, I've just been laid for 284,000 or so. Low of $3.30, went out to $4.30.
$2.70 at 9 a.m.
And the overall SP for Soothing's $4.20.
That's a severe drift.
Meanwhile, Demerara also came in for a fair bit of punishment late as well, being matched for 56,000 or so. $6.40 up to $9.80 of a high, close at $9.40.
$4.80 at 9 a.m. Demerara.
So,
both the Sheiks weren't wanted at all by the market.
No.
Demerara was given a really nice ride by Willow and almost got there. Soothing was cast for 3 wide the trip. Sucked in little hummer, which was good for us.
Oh.
Thank God. God bless it. After a complete and utter strip on Guineas Day, we bounced back with a big win on Wednesday and a solid set of results on Saturday, winning at Caulfield and winning at
Randwick.
At Randwick. Scurry is airborne, our man.
He is.
The podium. Fastest last 6, 4 and 200 and even 800 metres of the day, punters, was Tactical Advantage in race 7, ridden by Ollie. They absolutely walked here, giving the Ninja Warrior, Stephen Baster, every possible just to be blessed in running. Just Miss Len Honest was not going to get caught. She's gone a lot faster than that to the 6 and gone a lot quicker home. It was just a boat race, really. But Tactical Advantage paraded well and is flying clearly. Pahudakawa was really strong late, 11th fastest last 6, 7th fastest last 4, and the 2nd fastest last 200 metres of the day. Pretty big performance. Crone's gone well. Outside of the obvious, Creator, some chance in maybe a softer race, but it's a horse that parades pretty well, some ability. Parade of the day, Peter, what do you got?
Parade of the day. Well, it wasn't Snap Dancer.
It wasn't
So it was
Snap
a bit
Dancer.
like waking up the next day and just going, oh, is that...
I think the parade of the day for me is Warning. I'm in love with this horse now. Love the way it walks. Love the way it's a big lad, struts around. I think after Martin and his handbrake addiction on the corner, I suspect he will be off surely. As this horse aims for like big classic races, I want to be with it wherever it goes. Warning is my parade of the day. One of my horses to follow out of the meeting for sure.
The podium, the overall adjusted figures on the card, courtesy of puntingform.com.au. Top 3 performances,
of the day. Figure of the day, Pete. Are the 3 biggest figures of the day, Pistol, come from race 1.
Oh.
Extreme Pride's run a 13.9 above all average at puntingform.com.au. Benchmark. So You Swing clocked a 13.3, and Vigir, the leader, went mad in front, and so it should have. It's run at 12.7. Great ride. Weird day when race 1 lobs the best figures of the day when you got a Caulfield Cup in race 9. Odd, but that's what happened. The data doesn't lie.